Welcome back to the Gracefully Wild Soul podcast. I am so glad to be back here with you this week. All right, this week we are going to talk about the energy of May. So I went into the Akashic Records, I received some messages that I want to share with you, and I pulled two cards for you today. And we're just going to touch a little bit on the astrology for the month of May, more so the moon cycles, because they're really potent and beautiful this month. So let's do it. Welcome to the Gracefully Wild Soul podcast. I'm Kirsten, a mother and soul guide, and this is a space where your soul is witnessed and the frequency of your heart is felt. Together, we will have intimate conversations about the essence of life, the beauty of your soul's path, and our evolution as women and as mothers. Through channeled words, lived experiences, and the wisdom of nature's rhythms, the soul, and the sacred feminine, this is where the gracefully wild woman begins to rise. All right, the energy of the month of May. I really loved the energy when I went into the Akashic Records. I just felt like overall there was such power rooting down in the collective. And I know that life can feel a little turbulent at times. And we recently had this really big transit of Uranus moving into Gemini that happened on April 25th. And Uranus is the planet of change and disruption and shaking things up. And Gemini is the flirty, sign of the zodiac, the communicator, the air sign that is always thinking ahead. It is the connector of people, but it is also very much a community based sign, a communal based sign. So, with this recent shift, you may have noticed something happen right away, or this is something that you might notice as you go on day to day because this transit is hanging around till 2033. So, we are going to see a bit of this wave of going up and down in these different movements. So, when I looked at the month of May in the Akashic Records, I actually really felt this new energy being birthed into the collective. And so when I went up to the records, there was this incredibly unique experience that I had, which I really have not seen this before, is when I was invited into the records by the record keeper and I went to access the collective room. So the room that holds the energy of all the souls that are currently here on this planet or actually are beginning to incarnate here on earth. So all of that collective energy that we are working with that flavors our world sits in this particular room. And so when I actually went to go access that room, I was directed to a new door and I was actually shown a completely new experience. And it felt very much like this Uranus and Gemini energy. It was much more electric. Everything had codes in it. So, one of the messages that I received from the Akashic Records is don't discount connecting with Mother Earth right now and really going forward. But right now, there is this amazing opportunity to begin to open your own internal channel to receive all of this new energy that's beginning to trickle down into the collective. And that is deeply encoded already in Mother Earth. We just weren't given this access point until right now. And that was one of the messages that I received in the records is that this has been written for a long time. This frequency, this energy that we are beginning to come into, that we are beginning to move through that birth canal, has been written for a long time. It's just that it hasn't been lived. And so now we're going to begin to live it. And that is how we want to bring it into the collective, is by living through this energy. And some of it will be a slow build and some of it won't. Some of it will come maybe in unexpected ways. Okay, let's see. What else? All right. Communication systems are being turned on. Okay. Be prepared for your intuitive gifts, your psychic abilities, your third eye to literally just flip on. And I'm not going to lie, that could feel jarring. That could feel a little bit disruptive if this is not something that you have accessed before, or you haven't given space to allow your intuition to breathe. It can feel jarring and it can feel confusing and almost like, what's happening around here? Nobody else is having that experience. Like, you're looking around, like you're having this moment inside and you feel kind of displaced or out of place. So I just want you to be prepared that different types of communication are going to be coming online. So if you currently are already very much in this, space of utilizing your intuition, opening your third eye, connecting to maybe your psychic gifts, be prepared for maybe a new Claire to come online, or some sort of other language to begin to arrive into your domain. So I foresaw that this time is very much connected back to the ancient civilization of the Lemurians. And so we are going to begin to see that emergence come online with people. So I am predicting that we are going to see more telepathy. We are going to see more of this reading of the mind. We are going to be much more up in this space of thinking, but also being able to resonate with that thinking through a frequency. And that was the true gift of the Lemurians. So your intuitive guides are, your spirit team, your spirit guides, your spirit council. They are present, they are ready, and they're just waiting for you. So, again, if you are already in this space, if this is something that you already connect with, just know that there's going to be some new channels opening. If this is new to you, if this is something that you've never connected with, and you are really beginning to open yourself to receiving and open yourself to connecting with your intuition, it's okay. Be gentle, be slow with yourself. Begin to take notes. Just observe what's happening around you and write it down. You don't need to share with anyone. If you feel comfortable and safe, please do that, because it can feel so grounding for us to share our experience with someone else. But if you don't have that person yet in your life, just begin to start a journal, start a practice where you're taking notes of what's coming to you, even if it seems super out there, super far fetched, whatever it might be. Just jot it down. I promise. Ultimately, it will come together. Okay, one of the messages I received was also, some of these messages can be a little cryptic sometimes, and sometimes I'm not given further guidance from my team, from my spirit team. So I just share them because ultimately, in some shape or form, they will resonate, they will unfold. It's just not clear right now. And that could just mean that the timelines are shifting, that we're just not prepared to see what it is that is coming forward, but it will come. So one of the messages I received was something on earth will disappear and reappear. I almost got this image of like a volcano, right? So many of the land formations that we know on Earth are formed from some sort of volcanic activity or some sort of activity that's happening under the ocean, that's deep down. The tectonic plates are shifting and lava is beginning to emerge. And, all of these different things are happening, these geological events. And ultimately, we do see land emerge, islands appear and islands have disappeared. So I got this image of something disappearing and reappearing. Here are some of the other messages. Bear with me because my handwriting apparently was not very fluid when I was channeling these messages. So I'm going to do my best to read my own writing. This is a time of great change. Don't get lost in what's happening. Know that there is a rhythm. Your support will surface if you have not already connected with it. Just be patient and be open. Be settled in what's ahead, even if it feels like there's this huge mountain emerging in front of you. But don't forget to gather and laugh. Don't forget to sit in the warmth of the sun and connect with those that you love. You're beginning to make moves. Piece by piece, the puzzle is coming together and things are fitting. It's slow. It's okay. You will rise to a new rhythm when the time is right. Fill your lungs with the fabric of the wind. Allow your breath to carry you, yet don't be carried away. Don't forget to breathe. Don't forget. All will come in the right time. These are the messages that I have from the Akashic Records for the month of May. But, when you sink into that energy, you can really see that we are actually anchoring into a new timeline in the month of May. And that's really potent and really important. I want to circle back to some of the things that are happening up in the sky because this is all intertwined. This is all connected. On May 1st, we have a full moon in Scorpio. On May 31st, we have a second full moon, and that full moon is in Sagittarius. So in the month of May, we have a blue full moon. And when we say that, it means that we have two full moons in a month. We usually only get one. And so this is a really special, special month. And on top of that, on May 1st, we have Beltane. So we have this, deep energetic portal that we are dropping into from the 1st of May to the 31st of May. We have a tremendous amount of power and availability of the source of that power through this time period. Right now, we are sitting in Taurus season, and that will end about mid-May and when we transit into Gemini season. So we have at the beginning of May this earth energy that we're working with. Very much this, fixed earth sign brings us into our grounding. It anchors us. It prepares us for the movement that Gemini brings to the plate. And when we hit Gemini season, things are going to pick up even faster because we have that Uranus and Gemini energy that's bringing, the maybe a little bit of the chaos, a little bit of the disruption into our life. I can only think of that like like those little party poppers where you pull the string and it pops and all of the things come out of the little party popper. That's what I think of when I think about Gemini season this season. And in particular, Uranus and Gemini, because they're going off everywhere, no matter where you are. So that's okay. All of this is okay. We have a tremendous portal to work through in the month of May. And as you heard, all of those beautiful messages from the Akashic Records are giving us a new lens, a new opening in order to see what it is that we are anchoring into as we move forward in our life. And so when we hit the first full moon on May 1st, which is in Scorpio, we are gently being pulled into the depths. We're being just gently nudged into the deep water. Scorpio is a fixed water sign. And Scorpio is the alchemist. It is the archetype that can bring one element and then make magic to make another element. Scorpios are very deep. They're very emotional. They're very connected to what's happening underneath the surface. And so on May 1st, we're being asked to go deep. We're being asked to go into that shadow self to see maybe where we have been holding ourselves back. Maybe what has externally been shifting our energy into locations that we no longer want to put our energy into. But it is asking us to turn inward, to go deep. So that is the beginning of the month, anchoring into that deep emotion, really looking at your shadow self. You are being supported by that Taurus energy. You're being supported by your spirit guides. But Scorpios, they have that deep intuitive knowledge. It runs in their veins. It pumps through their blood. And most of the time, Scorpios, they don't necessarily connect to that side of themselves, but it is such a powerful element of having a prominent Scorpio placement in your chart. We all carry the energy of each of the signs, but if you carry a more prominent placement of Scorpio, then you are being invited into that archetype. So, really anchoring into Scorpio at the beginning of the month. And as we begin to traverse the month of May, we come to mid-May where we move into Gemini season and we pass over that threshold and we move towards the second full moon, which is at the end of the month of May. On May 31st, we have a full moon in Sagittarius. So full moons are always going to be in the opposite sign in which the sun is sitting. So since we have traversed into Gemini season at the end of the month of May, the full moon will be in the opposing sign of Gemini, which is Sagittarius. Sagittarius has this archetype of the teacher, the deep knowledge keeper, the one that travels the world and looks for higher education, higher learning, that religious aspect of life, that spiritual aspect of life, the getting to know other cultures and other languages. The Sagittarian energy has this fire energy, right? And so it's a completely different end of the spectrum from Scorpio. And so when we move from the beginning of the month in that Scorpio energy and we move to the end of the month when we're in Gemini season, but we're being called to that full moon illumination in Sagittarius, we're once again looking to release something. Full moons are about releases. But with this, essentially this blue moon sandwich that we have in the month of May, we're going to be starting with a release from the internal side. And then at the end, we're going to be looking for a release on our outward facing identity, that thing, that personality, that identity that people see out in the world, because Sagittarius is very much that outward facing archetype. And so the end of the month, the end of May, what is it that you need to shed on your external world? Maybe a viewpoint of yourself. Maybe it is something that you self-identify as, and you need to release that in order to truly anchor in to that teacher energy. Because when we over self-identify with something, then we're not coming from an embodied energy. We're coming from a more surface level experience. So the month of May has this incredibly potent opportunity for you to begin to anchor into your intuition, go deep into that shadow self, and slowly begin to move towards the end of the month when you once again release something that is outward facing in order to bring that inward experience to the surface. It truly is like a flower emerging from the depths of the earth in order to blossom and be seen for its true essence, its worth, its value. And so that is really the anchor of the month of May. It's a really powerful month to work with. So when I went to pull cards for the month of May, I wanted to pull from two different decks. And the first deck is the Rose Oracle deck, which is by Rebecca Campbell. And Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus. Taurus has this beautiful goddess energy, this earthly energy. It is soft and sensual. It is decadent. It has all of the earmarks of the goddess Venus. So I just felt very called to this Rose Oracle deck because the rose is deeply entwined with the goddess Venus. It is literally the shape that the planet makes in the sky. And so the card that I pulled is called the Bud, and it says potential, promise. It's about to happen. Keep going. And that felt so on point with the messages from the Akashic Records and my guides that things are beginning to open up. You're not in full bloom yet. And that is okay. You are exactly where you need to be. And that really is the marker of this time as we begin the month of May with Beltane. Beltane is that halfway point. It is between spring and summer. So we are not fully arrived, but we're allowing ourselves to be seen. We're allowing that intuitive guidance to begin to come to us. Maybe we're beginning to share, but just being open to receiving. This beautiful bud is going to continue to emerge as long as you water it and you nourish it. The potential is there, and we are growing towards that. So that card felt very on point for the month of May and that collective energy that we are working with. The second card that I pulled, the second card from a different deck that I pulled is from the Sacred Cycles Oracle deck. And it is the card of the first quarter moon. And the first quarter moon just encourages us to take that first step, to keep going, to keep believing. There's this image of a woman holding up a rainbow with sunflowers and bees collecting pollen from these flowers. She's connected to her body. She is connected to the earth below her, and she is opening that beautiful crown chakra, that third eye, to infinite possibilities. And she is ready to receive it. So this card felt just like another reflection of this bud card and all of the messages that came through for the month of May. We are building. Yes, it might feel slow, but it's okay. There is a rhythm, and we're working with that rhythm. So allow yourself to blossom and bloom on your own time. You have support. Call on your spirit guides. Anchor into that earth. Put your body on a rock. Lay in the grass. Do all the Taurus things that Tauruses do best. Just receive And when we come to the end of the month of May, you will be more prepared. You will be more anchored. You will be more grounded and ready to move with the momentum. That is the energy for the month of May. It was so good connecting. I can't wait to see you next week. Thanks for joining. Bye. Thank you, love, for being here. May you walk forward guided by the wild wisdom of your soul and the truth of your heart. To find me beyond the podcast, you can join my newsletter at soulbabe.com for continual updates on offerings and other teachings, or subscribe to the Gracefully Wild Soul Substack. Until next time.